Welcome to Carolina Warrior TV. I'm Chaz Bryant, joined by the voice, the man, the myth, the legend of Carolina Warrior TV, the man who brings you all the fights. He's not Joe Rogan. He's what's the other guy?
Mike Goldberg.
Mike Goldberg. I was thinking of Pat Summerall, but you're not Pat Summerall. You're Anthony Wyatt.
I'm Anthony Wyatt.
It took me about
I designed
half
the
an
logo.
hour. It took me. You did.
I did design
And the theme song.
And the themes. I didn't know we still use that.
We're still
it's
using
amazing.
What's amazing, Anthony, is U.S. Freedom Fighter 13, or was it 14?
It's one of them teens.
It's one of the teens.
Not old enough to drive yet, but legally old enough to purchase fireworks in South Carolina.
But it's going to be awesome coming up in a little over a week from right now. We're taping on Saturday around 5, 6 o'clock.
Sounds about right.
That means in mere hours, if you transform ourselves to next week, it's going to be U.S. Freedom Fighter. You're going to be there.
I am going to be there, and you should be too.
It's going to be an exciting time here in the Carolinas. They're coming to Charlotte for the first time. A lot of exciting fights coming up there, and you're going to be there.
It's always a fantastic show. I don't think it's going to matter whether it's at the Swamp Fox, it's in Marion. I don't care if it's in Canada, where everyone's extremely peaceful. This is going to be a great card. It's always
amazing, Anthony. And what's great is Freedom Fighters coming to Charlotte, Club Hush for the first time. Let's take a look at the card. U.S. Freedom Fighter comes to Charlotte for the first time, and Club Hush is the setting for 15 terrific fights. John Velvet Rope Henning hopes to continue his winning streak in getting his third straight win in 2013. Adam Ronzik and Roger Stone battle for the featherweight title. Ronzik is gunning for his first win since May of this year, while Stone is in his first title fight appearance. Bad blood between Tim Parker and Brandon Barrett. This is Tim's first fight since 2011, and Brandon has racked up 2 wins since he started fighting in the beginning of this year. A rematch between Dustin Messer and Patrick Ward, this time for the middleweight title belt. Messer won the first encounter back in May, but both are 2-1 since that time. Messer is also 2-2 since October of 2012. U.S. Freedom Fighter also showcases new and exciting fighters. 5 new emerging stars are stepping inside the cage for the very first time. It's going to be an exciting time at Club Hush, and I started by asking the matchmaker, the man who put this exciting card together, how does it feel to come to Charlotte for the first time?
We've been waiting to put fights on in Charlotte for a really long time. I'm very excited about it. We got a really good deal on our venue, and we signed a bit of a contract with them, so it won't be our only show in Charlotte. The exciting thing about it is having the opportunity to appeal to a new crowd that we've never had the chance to. Our shows are kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Marion, and the ability to get fans from all over the state out there is kind of difficult, as well as the fighters. So this is giving me the opportunity to open up to more schools in South Carolina, and they're actually going to have a following that's going to come with them. Also, just the benefit of being able to say, you put on a show in Charlotte, which everybody knows where it's at. It helps a lot with your advertising.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Alan, how excited are you to have a show in Charlotte for the first time?
I'm about 11.5, I would say. Not quite 12, 11.5. I mean, like I said, it's an outstanding opportunity, and hopefully an investment to the future where we get a chance to appeal to these new fans out here, and they get a chance to see the production value and the fighter quality that we're bringing to the Carolinas.
We wanted to know how great is it to have a show that's close enough for some of the fighters' families and friends that normally couldn't make it out be able to come to the show.
It's great for my fighters. My fighters personally, we're only like 15 minutes from the venue. So as opposed to when the shows are in Charlotte, we're driving about an hour and a half. I mean, when they're in Marion, we're driving about an hour and a half. In Charlotte, 15, 20 minutes is going to give us the opportunity to, after weigh in, we can come back. We can, stay at our houses and relax the rest of the day instead of sitting in a locker room. But that's going to be good for a lot of the schools around here, because a lot of schools I've been putting on my card, the guys are coming from Charlotte and whatnot, and they're driving an hour and a half, so they're kind of in the same boat. I think it's going to help with the readiness of the fighters, man, and give them the chance to go home and eat a good meal that they know is good for them, and not have to look around for a restaurant that might not be the best place to eat before you fight, but actually get some good carbs in you. And just the chance to have our fans that can't drive 2 hours to come see us fight be there and support us. I'm so excited about painting that place gray and green.
Do you get nervous or excited to watch your fighters?
I'm going to be honest. I don't really get nervous a lot as far as fighting goes in general, man. I've been around this my whole life. You know, the great thing about it is I think it's the purest form of competition. So it is a sport. I mean, you know, you got the possibility of being injured, but you got the possibility of being injured going playing a game of soccer today. The great thing about cornering my guys is I know when they go in there how prepared they are, that we've worked absolutely as hard as possible, and that hopefully I've taught them everything that they need to know when they go in there just via experience. The only time I really probably get nervous is when my wife fights, but I think that's, you know, that's understood, and when my kids compete, you know, that's pretty nerve-wracking. I would just rather be fighting myself, you know. But I'm just really excited to have them out there. A lot of these guys have never had the chance for any of their family to come see them fight and whatnot, and it's a good opportunity for them to get out there and get a little recognition.
Besides the fights that are featuring your fighters and your coaching, who else are you excited to see on the card?
Well, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is, of course, the Dustin Messer versus Patrick Ward bout. I've actually had that fight before on my card, and Dustin Messer was able to defeat Patrick Ward. Patrick was really upset about that. He got taken down. I think it was before the chance that he really got to put a lot of time into his wrestling. I'm sure Patrick has looked to fix that. He's a huge 185er. Dustin Messer's underestimated by everybody, but he takes everybody down. I mean, he fought Ali El Reda, took Ali down. He did lose that fight, but, I mean, he fought his guts out. I always know when Dustin Messer comes to fight, he's going to fight absolutely as hard as he can. And then we've got Roger Stone. He's fighting Adam Ronzik now. His original opponent actually got injured, broke his thumb fighting Adam, and Adam was willing to step up and take the bout for me. I think that's an interesting bout because Roger Stone, you got a state champion level wrestler, and he's going against one of the best jiu-jitsu guys I've ever seen in my life, you know, as far as local MMA goes. I mean, Adam Ronzik invents stuff and ties you up in it, and it's like being stuck in a spider web. And he's really good at using that length in the grappling. You know, a lot of tall guys, they don't understand how to use their length once they hit the ground. They can do it standing, but Adam, you know, absolutely can do it standing and on the ground. I don't think he shows his striking as much as he needs to. And I think in this fight, him and Roger, it might boil down to the fact where they just stand up and bang it out and make for a very exciting fight.
And Alan, before we get you out of here, is there anything you want to say to the fans out there?
Make sure to come out October 5th to Club Hush in Charlotte, North Carolina, and check out what the USFFC is all about. I think you'll greatly enjoy the show, the production value, and the quality of fighters we bring out there.
Thank the Hedgehog for his time. You spent time working with him. He's a great guy, isn't he?
Yeah, great stand-up guy, really lengthy. He's hit me in the face a lot more than I've hit him.
No, that answers a lot of questions right there. You're going to be there. You're going to be calling it out there at the Club Hush on Independence Avenue. It's right outside of Uptown. Which fights are you most excited to see?
I would like to highlight four fights with a lot of guys that I'm very excited to see. John Henning versus T.J. Glenn is going to be an exciting fight. John Henning, you know, most people aren't impressed with the record, but the guy puts on a show every time. He's a very, very technical striker, and I was very impressed with his last performance at Elite Championship Cage Fighting, and it was a very impressive fight for him. Good win. Discuss Brad Roof versus Carlos Eggers. Brad Roof's been on something of a losing streak, and I'm sure every fight I've seen him try to come back stronger and stronger, and he's a very talented, very great fighter. And I think he's gonna put another win in tomorrow, and he looks like a bat out of hell whenever he comes off a loss. He's very angry. I know he's training hard. The Brandon Barrett and Tim Parker fight. I understand there's a lot of trash talk going on the internet and the waves out there. And Brandon Barrett's a very, very talented guy fighting out of Body Quest. A very impressive record. I don't believe he's lost a single fight. And it's interesting to see what he's going to do every time he gets in there, whether it's take it to the ground or beat you up standing up, because he's capable of both. Another fight that I wanted to highlight is Adam Ronzik versus Roger Stone. Adam Ronzik is the most experienced fighter on the amateur circuit. He's got more amateur fights than most pros in North Carolina have combined with their amateur records. He's a very talented submission guy, heck of a chin, a lot of heart in there. It's a Rocky movie every time he steps into the cage. And he's fighting a really, really tough guy in Roger Stone, just a huge 155 with heavy hands. I've seen him put a guy away with body shots alone. And that's going to be an insane fight. I think if Ronzik really wants to have a chance in this fight, he's going to try and take that to the ground and work his outstanding submission game. Roger's probably going to try and keep it standing and land those big hands of his.
Very interesting about Adam Rosnick. He's been fighting so long that I believe Ronald Reagan attended his first fight during his first administration. So that's, I always got to watch it. He's got some experience on it. And about Brad Roof, too, you are at the home of Brad Roof here at Modern Warrior.
I saw no pictures of him. You guys are ashamed of him. That's terrible.
We are ashamed of you. That's why we're going to knock you off and go to a commercial break. But when we come back, coming up, since we're here at Modern Warrior MMA, let's sit down and do a little moves with the rock star, Keith Richardson. He'll show us what he does inside the cage. That's all coming up on Carolina Warrior TV.
I'm not a test dummy for that, am I?
No.
Frown lines, Botox. CompleteLaserClinic.com. Physician-supervised weight loss program. Open 7 days a week. CompleteLaserClinic.com. Have the laser lipo procedure and go back to work the same day. CompleteLaserClinic.com. Multiple locations in North Carolina. CompleteLaserClinic.com.
I know they probably hating, they getting punched out. It's funny how they waiting, they getting punched out. Punch out, get your crew punched out. Treat it like clockwork, I punch in and punch out. I know they probably hating, they getting punched out. It's funny how they waiting, they getting punched out.
And welcome back to the show. Since we are here in the beautiful Modern Warrior MMA facilities down here in beautiful Rock Hill, South Carolina, in the downtown area, there's a nice little pizzeria down over there. Anyway, this is the home of Keith the Rockstar Richardson. And not too long ago, I got inside the cage, and I thought to myself, what can I do to become a better fighter that I don't want to be? Well, it's a good thing. He had a great guy like Keith the Rockstar Richardson to tell you, and here's what he showed me. Keith, you know me. I've been waiting to get inside the cage, throw some leather, throw some gloves, but they say the ground game. You got to work on the ground game.
Ground game ends fights. Yeah, there's a puncher's chance, but there's very little grappler's chance. If you're the superior grappler, you get it to the ground, you can win the fight.
What are you going to show me?
All right, I'm going to show you a variation on the arm bar. As with any submission, they're more effective when you chain them together. All right, so I'm going to kind of throw I wouldn't say half-ass triangle, but it's going to be that's not the move that I'm actually looking for.
And remember, kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah, I'm going to bait them with the triangle.
Oh man, you know me. I like my bait.
And I am a master baiter. I couldn't resist. All right, so we're starting off on our back. Due to Chaz's superior wrestling, he threw me to the ground and got on top of me. Gone with the Wind style. All right. The way that we're going to start this move off, like I said, we'll start off with a basic triangle, where I start in a closed guard position, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to push one arm through my legs, right as I open up my guard, and I throw this leg over top. Now in MMA, most top guys can keep a better posture, and one of the things that they'll do with that posture is, before I break them down, all they'll do is push my leg across, right there. Well, as soon as he does that, I've got to do this nice and quickly, but all I'm doing is I'm going to slide my shin right into his neck, and I'm just going to swing this other leg over top, right to there. And just squeeze my knees together, and finish my arm bar right there. This is a really tight arm bar.
That is tight. That would hurt. That would mess up somebody's night right there.
Yep, just ask anybody that's ever fought Ronda Rousey.
Man, that's painful. That's something you kids should learn out there on the grappling circuit. So, thanks, Keith.
Anytime, buddy.
Anthony, like we said, you've been calling fights. You've been in the chair. You've seen stuff up close. What's your favorite move, or maybe a move you put on somebody?
Well, I got to say I'm loving the emergence of the spinning heel kick to the face that's been getting really big in MMA. But as far as amateur MMA, Adam Bronzik is a guy that pulls insane submissions off that are technically impossible. I don't know how they're done, but I've seen them with my own eyes. The last Elite that I saw him fight at, there was a crazy choke where he lifted his leg up over top of the back of the guy, grabbed up in here, and it was a really tight hold. He didn't tap Lawrence Dennis out, but it was still an insane submission. I don't believe there's a name for it. I've asked several people, and I just don't know where this guy gets all creative like this. It's amazing to see people just, bam. It's like a coloring book. I'm going to color you with this submission that doesn't exist. Maybe a green duck, you know, or there are green ducks, but maybe a purple duck. And that's what he does with submissions every time he fights. So get excited.
His own patented move.
That has no name.
It has no name.
You know, I thought maybe the Adam Plata, you know,
That's clever.
perhaps, you know,
That's clever.
a little Eddie Bravo-ish in here.
You know where there was a lot of moves?
At Club Hush.
Yes, but at the HD fights that happened not too long ago, we have highlights of those coming up after this commercial. That's called a transition.
You could
That's
have told me
great.
we were transitioning.
No, we're not. We're going to commercial.
Frown lines, Botox. CompleteLaserClinic.com. Physician supervised weight loss program. Open 7 days a week. CompleteLaserClinic.com. Have the laser lipo procedure and go back to work the same day. CompleteLaserClinic.com. Multiple locations in North Carolina. CompleteLaserClinic.com.
Okay, the reason why you don't need to be a fighter to train like a fighter, because every single one of us should be out there challenging ourselves every day. You don't need to be willing to, hurt yourself and, put yourself in the cage just to get some great fight training with a bunch of great people. That's not what this is about. A lot of the people that come in here and train just want to learn it. They're just fans of the sport and want to be a part of it in any way they can. And they want to get in some of the best shape they possibly can. The people that walk in this door, there's only a certain percentage of them that are ever going to step in the cage, but every one of them are going to get the training that the guys that do step in the cage get. Everything that we teach all of our students is proven right in here. That's what we give people, and I think that's what they want.
Welcome back. HD Fights were not too long ago. We were there to cover it. It's great. You want to see some highlights?
I would love to see some highlights.
Let's go to the highlights. September 7th saw the debut of the HD Fights series in Matthews, North Carolina, outside a beautiful venue. It had it all set up, a nice sun going down, dusk falling on the Carolinas. In fisticuffs, it happened. Johnny Boyd versus Robert Moore at 0-1.
Our enemies Robert Moore is a fantastic ground fighter. Johnny Boyd's coming from an amateur boxing career, and he had power in the hands. Just look as he pounds away on Robert Moore, and it's over. You don't see a lot of knockouts from the guard. This is a lot about how heavy he is.
A lot of the beginning of that card had a lot of knockouts, a lot of submissions, and that was just one of them right there. And the first time Johnny Boyd gets his first fight, first time inside the cage, you got Rashad Hood at 2-1 versus Matt Grant. Look at that clean looking kid. Why would you ever mess up a face like that inside the cage? Well, that kid could be.
I think he's doing a lot more than messing up other people's faces. look at this. It's a 14-second knockout. You put anybody in front of him, he walks through him under the first one. This kid is insane. He's definitely somebody to keep an eye on.
And he just shakes it off like it's nothing. First round KO. Come on, kid, give us a little smile. Something like that. Nothing? All right, well, we get it again. That's Fedor's. Fedor's very serious inside there. Look, there's another sheriff's face. Tony Tan taking, and there's Pro Debut versus Eric Colleran at 0-1. These two guys are pretty good amateurs when they're inside the cage.
I'm actually surprised they never met in the amateur rematch. This would have been a great rematch, but this was a great start-off fight, and I'm sure they would try to win one day. Both technically ground guys with good striking, and usually they put on a great show from start to finish. I think Eric's gas tank is just what really helped him out during the win here.
And then Tony is also known for a guy doing a lot of stuff on the ground. And maybe he just wasn't implemented, just like you said, that weather. There's outside, a little gas tank. Maybe that became a factor as the two hugged it out, waiting for the judges and the decision after doing all 3 rounds. And the winner will be Eric Colleran. Now, improves his record at 1-1 unanimous decision. We celebrate. Nice effort. Lawrence Stennis makes his Pro Debut going up against Adam Glenn. He's at 1-0. These two guys were at it again all 3 rounds. Lawrence was trying to use a lot of his striking, which is what he's sort of known for.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely a striker in the amateur ranks. Put a lot of guys away with heavy hands and his quick precision on his feet. And we actually saw him use a lot of wrestling and takedowns in this fight. I'm not sure. I think Adam was a very, very accomplished striker himself. And that's probably what edged him out.
And then, of course, the round is neutralizing Adam Glenn improves his record to 2-0 with a split decision right there. Sort of controversial, but we move on. We have Kevin Font going against a guy who has a lot of experience inside the cage at Franklin Edmondson at 2-15, but Kevin, coming off that loss of XFC, does his work pretty well.
Yeah, there is a fire. In fact, there's maybe 10 fires. There's one huge bonfire. That guy is an animal. When he trains and he gets in the cage, he's such a nice guy outside there. As soon as he touches the ball, he's a beast. He's a force to be reckoned with. We look forward to seeing him again. Hopefully, in XFC
Submission in the first round, Kevin Font. As we take a look at the rest of the card, very controversial fight that went to split decision, Brad Geyer versus Aaron Brooks. Hopefully we'll see them back out there again. And some other great fights noted on there. You got the female fight in unanimous decision. And of course, Lonnie Price beat Rafael Morale at the end of the first round by submission. A lot of great fights out there with HE Fight Series.
Yeah, a lot of amazing finishes on a card. Like first night out there for these guys, very impressive night, very impressive fight card, and I can't wait for the next one.
It's also great to have another promotion in the Carolinas.
Always fantastic. That's more opportunities for the fighters, more opportunities for me to watch somebody get punched in the face and talk about it.
And we'll be back right after this.
MMA is the fastest growing sport in the world, and the XFC is looking for the next MMA superstar. Both Nick Newell and Mariana Kayfetz tried out for the XFC. Nick Newell received over 1 million hits on YouTube after his first XFC victory. You think you got what it takes? Then prove it at the next XFC Open Fighter Tryout. For details, go to officialxfc.com.
All right, Anthony, we're just minutes away. If you're watching us getting ready for the U.S. Freedom Fighter show on pay-per-view, we're just moments away from the fights. Anthony, how excited are you?
I am super excited. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm 15.
You're 15.
We are beyond that. I'm speeding 80 into 35 to see this show. And if you're not, you're crazy.
And if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, remember, get your tickets. Get your tickets at the door. There's only a limited supply. It's Club Hush on Independence Avenue, just right outside of Uptown Charlotte. Yeah, hush. Hopefully you won't be hushing for the show. We thank you. We thank the guys here at Modern Warrior MMA for letting us use their facilities. We thank Evan Goyette behind the camera for doing whatever the hell he does all the
A
time.
lot of work. Great guy.
So something like that.
He's good looking too.
Okay. And we'll see you, and make sure you watch all the videos. If you want to see the full fights from the HD Fight series, you can always just log on to YouTube, search HD Fights. We've got the whole fights listed on there. More fights after that, interviews, a lot of good stuff.
Wonderful channel you got there, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Now get the hell out of my gym on Chaz Bryant. That's